So we have NetBeans installed. If you didn't do that, that's from the previous video. And now let's talk about using NetBeans as a developer. So this screen right here that NetBeans starts into is something it can choose to start into every single time it starts up. Or if you don't want to see this information, you can uncheck this and it'll start up into your basic normal environment. This is the core NetBeans environment. NetBeans, like Eclipse, is very flexible in that you can resize or move around anything and dock it. We'll see a lot of this here as we get going a little bit further, but that is going to be a great feature for you to customize to your screen size and your preference of what you want to see at any given time while you're developing. We want to develop some code though, so we're going to start right away. File, New Project. Now, you see when I do new project, it pops up a window and it's going to say, hey, this is how you want to do this. One of the first keys in NetBeans, though, is to understand you can do almost everything in more than one way. So if I want to start a new project, I can do File, New Project like we just saw. Or I can come to the button right here, New Project. You see, if I hold over it, it'll mouse over and tell me New Project. And that'll bring up the same screen for New Project. Or I can hit Control-Shift-N. You can see it actually told me that little hint over there, and that opens up the same thing. So if I hold down Control, I hit Shift and N, gives me the little key right there. You see my mouse over here, and it tells me Control Shift N. Or I can even right-click here and say New Project. So there's 4 ways right there to get to the same screen, and that's true of almost every feature. There's going to be a menu bar item, a button somewhere, a right-click option, and probably a key shortcut, a hotkey shortcut to get to that. So know that's true on a lot of things that we're going to use. I like to use a lot of key shortcuts because I like to keep my hands on the keyboard. I know some people prefer the mouse. So it's up to your style. So now we're in a new project. I can choose from many different projects. Since we installed the EE version here, you can see I can build enterprise applications. I can build web applications. I can build HTML5 applications, all sorts of things inside of here. But we're just going to talk about a basic Java application here, and we'll hit next off of that. First thing I'm going to do is name my Java application, and this is going to be Welcome to NetBeans, kind of a hello world type application. Now, whatever the name of my project is becomes the name of the folder that the project is going to go into. And this goes into my user document directories. That's going to be what I come into when I say, my name here, I'm the user inside of here, and it's going to create a NetBeans folder inside of here. It has not done it yet, but it'll do it here in just a second as soon as I create my project. So it's going to put it inside of the NetBeans projects folder, and I'll see that I create in a second, and it's going to put my project inside of there. It also gives me the option to create my initial class. It's going to have the package name start as the same as a project name. I can change this if I want to, if I don't want that to be the case. And it's also going to create a Java class as a main class that is the same name as the project. Again, something you can change here if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it, and I'm going to hit Finish. So now I have my project, and now I have my first bit of code inside of here. Again, I can resize things however I want to. I can move things around. You can see the navigator here shows me elements inside of there. If I don't want this, I can close it, or I can resize it, or any number of things we can do. So if I close this right here, oops, I wanted that. I can go back up here to the window, and you can see the menu item for window, there's navigator right here. I can click on that, and it shows back up. So it's highly customizable. Or as I said, I can take this and I can redock it. I can move it down to the bottom here, and now my navigator shows up down over here. I just go to the tab and I drag it and move it however I want to, and get it to where the orange box matches where I want it to be, and there is the way I customize it inside of NetBeans. I can move this around, and there's many views depending on what I have open and what I'm doing. And so just be aware of that. And most of these things come from the window. It's going to show you the items here. So eventually we'll see when we run code, the output window will show up down here. And it would happen automatically. If I close this, oops, I closed the wrong one. If I hide this here, and I go and I try and run the code I have here, it'll automatically open the output window, and it did it across the whole bottom because I closed that other one, unfortunately. But it's there. There you go. Now I minimize that there, and I bring it back down to here, and that shows all the pieces back where they were. But you can, again, if you like that big window, you can make it big by oops, right there. I'm hiding it down here. I bring the output inside of here. So I hit it before, then it shows up down here at the bottom, and then I make it big up there, and then I can go back to the normal size right there. So there's kind of three modes. I can hide it, I can have it really big, or I can have it wherever I docked it inside of there. All right, so the next thing we'll look at here is getting into some code shortcuts and how to help us do code, but that is a little bit on getting started with your project.